Modern battlefields are now saturated with persistent drone coverage, high-resolution thermal optics, and dense, interconnected satellite networks. Because we can monitor the globe in real time, many assume that a major military mobilization could never happen unnoticed. But raw visibility is not understanding. Seeing an adversary's movements is useless if your command structure misinterprets their intent. The 2025 to 2026 conflict between the United States, Israel, and Iran provided the ultimate real-world test of this paradox. Despite possessing advanced radar networks, Iranian leadership was repeatedly caught off guard by large-scale, coordinated strikes. To understand how these blind spots were engineered, we rely on the analytical framework provided by Major Tariq Mahmoud. His core thesis is that complete strategic surprise remains achievable today because the methods of execution have shifted into invisible domains. Ultimately, possessing unlimited data becomes a vulnerability when the enemy dictates how your command structure interprets that information. The ancient military axiom remains true: all warfare is based on deception. In the past, this meant deploying physical decoys like inflatable tanks or hiding troops under the cover of night. Today, leading military powers operate under the standard of hybrid warfare. This shifts deceptive operations into the cyberspectrum, electronic warfare domains, and psychological operations. We are going to formally define the doctrines of deception and reverse engineer exactly how they were used to blind Iranian tracking systems. On the modern battlefield, mastery of these invisible domains is the absolute prerequisite for kinetic success. Professional military strategy requires separating broad concepts into precise, actionable components. This structural framework is the doctrinal triad. The first pillar is the objective: surprise. Surprise is the deliberate engineering of psychological paralysis. Whether it occurs at the strategic, operational, or tactical level, the goal is to shatter the enemy's decision-making loop before they can coordinate a defense. Engineering that surprise requires the second pillar, deception. Deception is the overarching strategy of manipulating intelligence and feeding the enemy data that reinforces their existing false beliefs. The final pillar of the triad is deceiving. Deceiving is the practical application layer. This is the physical or digital execution, moving troops secretly or broadcasting fake electronic signals. In this hierarchy, surprise is the destination, deception is the map, and deceiving is the vehicle that delivers the blow. Major Tariq Mahmoud applies this triad directly to Israel's Operation Rising Lion. Israel began with a strategic deception phase, deliberately broadcasting specific diplomatic and media signals. These signals were designed to manufacture a false sense of security and calm the Iranian leadership regarding the threat of an imminent attack. With the target lulled into a state of security, Israel abruptly shifted from the illusion of peace to a massive kinetic strike. Simultaneously, they launched an information warfare campaign, hacking internal TV broadcasts and disrupting banking networks. This cyber deception was intended to break internal stability and paralyze the command hierarchy from within. On this map, we see the execution of SIAD, the suppression of enemy air defenses. As Israeli drone vectors infiltrate the airspace, the radiating radar nodes systematically turn gray and go offline. Israel achieved the doctrinal triad by wrapping a lethal reality inside a carefully constructed illusion of diplomatic calm. During Operation Midnight Hammer, the United States utilized a different, technologically driven methodology. This global map shows a primary deceiving tactic. The U.S. sent hollow decoy bomber icons over the Pacific, while the real strike force moved toward the Middle East. To protect the real strike force, the military employed multi-domain deception, creating an invisible battlefield through electronic waves and satellite masking. This combination of satellite masking and electronic jamming successfully blinded Iran's remaining sensor networks. Parallel to these technical moves, the U.S. used ongoing negotiations to stall Iranian military mobilization. The true weight of American technological superiority lies in forcing an enemy's intelligence apparatus to track the wrong targets, moving beyond mere physical stealth. Iran occupied a reactive posture, utilizing limited counter-deception methodologies throughout the conflict. They manipulated diplomatic timelines by using ceasefires as deception pauses to mask the timing of missile launches. Outmatched in high-tech domains, Iran relied on asymmetric warfare, mobilizing proxy forces like Hezbollah and throttling internal internet networks. While reactive, these indirect tactics serve to maintain a level of strategic deterrence and complicate the coalition's timing. This matrix shows how the belligerents applied deception in distinct specialized ways. Israel used aggressive deception for precise surprise, the US used technical decoys for total blindness, and Iran used reactive measures for indirect warfare. Major Tariq Mahmoud's insight remains the standard. The core doctrines of war are unchanged, but the physical battlefield is now secondary to the electronic domain. No amount of advanced sensotechnology can overcome a superior psychological and electronic deception strategy. In modern multi-domain warfare, the side that controls perception ultimately controls reality.